So once again, today for the first time, actually, it feels like we've had the gap up, and we sort of trended lower throughout the day for us to end a little bit off of our lows. We're still another day positive, and if you look at some of these, like 1/3% on the Dow, you have about 0.5% on the comp, both to the upside. But we were much higher throughout the day, and we started to sort of trend lower, which is a interesting thing for us to see for the first time. Now,
EAB boosted forecast for 2010.
Now, for me, I look at maybe some of the opportunities. If, for example, tomorrow, if we gapped up again, would we have another opportunity to sell them off? And at the same time, with the strength that we've been having,
Have not seen Amgen's numbers yet.
with the strength that we've been having, if you can get a chance for potentially to have another gap down and to rally through. So we're looking for that type of volatility. It seems like it's been difficult on the short side, to say the least, but that may also be because we gap up so hard. So let's keep an eye out tomorrow for either a gap up on some of these names for us to sell off pretty hard, or vice versa, where we gap down and then we rally through. Those are the two easier plays for us. If we start up a little bit or a little bit higher of a gap up, it's sort of like we can continue to push out, but a little bit more of a boring day for us as traders, or for us to look for maybe like where the shorter term momentum would be. And then we look to sort of fade maybe a large move like they did this morning, and they faded some of these moves. I mean, today the weaker names were in the banking space. You had Goldman Sachs earlier this morning. You have JP Morgan down 1.7% again. Bank of America right down by its lows, 11.16. Bank of America closing 9 cents off its low for the day. So you had some weakness in the bank space for sure. That's where most of the concentration of the selling has been. You had some interest on the upside with some of the tech names led by the Chinese internet plays in a big way. Those are some of the areas I was looking at. Some of the airline spaces also, and still more commodity moves to the upside also. So for pretty much for me, that's a wrap up for the day. I will continue to watch as earnings are still coming out. I continue to have my fingers on the keyboard. I happen to go home a little bit short. I may potentially still cover on an overnight, as I usually don't like to take overnight plays. I saw the weakness in this AGO gapping down about 9% on a downgrade, and I would look for maybe some of the sympathy on some of the other names that I'm short, some of the other mortgage insurers. So that's just what's going through my head. It's a tough market to be short in. Let's just put it that way, to say the least. And as of recent, I've been watching guys get run over. If you're too stubborn in this market, you'll have a very difficult time. There was also, like we talked about, the anticipation factor on the close was a mandatory. If you hit bids when you got down at the bottom of the range, you were dead. If you took offers when you got to the top part of the range, you were dead. You really needed to anticipate and really be a sniper on your entries and exits. And it's one of the hardest days we have. A day where we're range-bound trading for a while. It's one of the hardest days we have, because you need to really be buying stuff when it looks like it's going to break lower, and you need to be going in front of a runaway train to the upside. But you really had to do it with the right names at the right time. The weak ones ended up going lower. The strong ones ended up going higher. And it's about sort of staying out of harm's way and getting the right pricing. So once again, we're going to sign off for the evening. We'll stay on for a little while through the earnings, after hours earning plays, and otherwise we'll see you tomorrow morning at about 8:45. Thanks again for joining, and we'll see you in the morning. You can send any question and comments over to shinesroom@gmail.com.